If you caught our last video, you know that a Czech investment group just scooped up some of the biggest names in American ammunition: Federal, Remington, CCI, and Speer. Now that these legendary brands are being managed out of offices in Prague instead of Pennsylvania, it begs the question, what's the move for those of us who want to keep our ammo red, white, and blue? The answer is simple: buy from companies that are still building and shipping ammo right here on home turf. In this video, we're shining a light on 4 American outfits that are stepping up to fill the void, boosting U.S. production, and proving that you don't need a European parent company to supply hunters, competition shooters, and law enforcement. We'll show you one manufacturer turning out precision sniper rounds with Lapua brass and Berger bullets, another reviving a Cold War bomber facility into a fully integrated ammo plant, a third one slashing distribution distances to cut prices in high-cost states, and even an AR builder who just jumped into the 5.56 game. The American ammo industry isn't fading, it's just getting its second wind. Let's rewind for a second to that Czech acquisition. When the paperwork settled, control over Federal, Remington, CCI, Speer, and a whole warehouse of Alliant powder formulas ended up in the hands of board members sipping espresso in Prague. Some of you were immediately skeptical, worried that decisions made across the Atlantic might dictate whether or not you even get to sight in your deer rifle this fall. Others figured, hey, maybe nothing really changes. But rather than waiting around for back orders and shipping delays to confirm our suspicions, we decided to dig into what American-made ammo is still on the rise, because the best antidote to foreign dependency is ramping up domestic output. And thankfully, we're seeing progress on several fronts. Capstone Precision Group. Let's kick things off with Capstone Precision Group. If that name doesn't ring a bell, the brands under its umbrella absolutely will. Berger bullets have been a Bencrest staple for decades. Lapua brass in those trademark blue boxes is a go-to for anyone serious about hand loading. And Vista powders have a reputation for consistency that reloaders worldwide swear by. What's different now? Capstone has brought all those elite components together in one facility and is now loading ammo in-house that used to take an afternoon at the reloading bench to produce. They're leading off with long-distance offerings like 300 Norma Magnum, loaded with 245 grain long-range hybrid target bullets, and 338 Norma Magnum, pushing a 300 grain open-tip match design. These aren't vanity loads, they're the same specs used by American Special Operations units. Every round is built with extreme consistency, using Vista powder batches that stay within single-digit velocity spread across extreme climates. From there, Capstone narrows the range down to practical service rifle loads in 2.23 Remington. They've developed a 73 grain boat tail that runs great in older one in 9 twist barrels, and a 77 grain open tip option for anyone running a faster twist. Showing up to a DCM match with factory ammo that performs like a tuned hand load built with Lapua brass and match-grade bullets is a huge win for shooters without a full reloading setup. And with primers still being hard to come by, that kind of consistency off the shelf is more valuable than ever. Capstone also stepped into the hunting world, bringing their hybrid Ogive tech to bear in 430 caliber offerings, 2 for the old school, 30-06 Springfield, and 2 for the 300 Winchester short Magnum. The top end of the lineup features a 205 grain powerhouse designed for bull elk and big-bodied Midwest whitetails. And these loads are designed to be magazine length friendly, meaning you don't need to play seating depth roulette just to get them to run in your hunting rifle. That matters to the average sportsman who doesn't want a workbench full of dies just to chase tiny groups. Capstone isn't just filling a gap, they're proving that elite-level match ammo can be built in America without needing to import every last component. And as their volume increases, it puts pressure on importers to compete on price. First Breach. Next up is First Breach, a relatively new player making serious waves. While Capstone is all about surgical precision, First Breach is taking the industrial approach, reviving an old Cold War site and transforming it into a full-blown ammunition factory. Jeffrey Lowe and his son Jordan could have opened their doors anywhere, but instead they chose a 65-acre decommissioned aircraft plant in Hagerstown, Maryland, the same facility that once produced A-10 Warthogs. They stripped out the old aerospace tooling and dropped in modern cup presses, smelting stations, and swaging machines. Lead is melted and poured into wire on site, then formed into bullets just a few steps away from where the brass gets its final trim. This kind of one-campus operation cuts weeks out of the supply chain. Even their indoor range for velocity testing is built into a Cold War bunker, originally designed to withstand a nuclear strike. As of now, First Breach is focused on the basics: 55 and 62 grain loads in 223 and 5.56 NATO, and 115 and 124 grain 9mm. Next up on their roadmap is production of 308 Winchester and 7.62 by 39. But the real story here isn't just the calibers, it's that First Breach has earned federal approval to manufacture its own primers. Once that line goes live, they'll be one of just 2 private ammo producers in the US with complete vertical control. That's a big deal, especially since primers have been the most fragile link in the ammo supply chain for years. Jordan Lowe, who served with the Golani Brigade under the Green Berets, made it clear he'd never rely on outside suppliers again for anything mission-critical. That mindset has already caught the attention of law enforcement agencies, some of which are switching to First Breach after seeing flawless function during full-length training rotations. They've got around 25 staff right now, but new tooling coming online should double that headcount by next summer. Sure, they're not the size of a legacy manufacturer just yet, but every primer tower and every new die head adds another American-made link in a chain that no foreign boardroom can cut. Freedom Munitions. Let's now head northwest to Lewiston, Idaho, home turf for seasoned shooters, where the air itself carries the scent of burned powder from the legendary CCI and Speer lines. Nestled in that same firearms-rich town, you'll find Freedom Munitions, a company that used to run a split operation. Their bullets, marketed under the Extreme brand, came out of Carson City, Nevada, while case manufacturing and assembly happened back in Idaho. That bi-coastal approach worked back when diesel was $3 a gallon and freight lanes weren't bottlenecked by shutdowns and shortages. But after the pandemic turned logistics into a game of Russian roulette, the leadership at Freedom called it quits on the Nevada side of things. In late 2024, they packed up key staff, shut down the Silver State facility, and expanded their Idaho footprint by 10,000 square feet. Now, bullet plating and brass case annealing are connected by a rail system, eliminating forklifts, semis, and all the headaches in between. Every operation case drawing, projectile plating, and final assembly happens under one roof, right in Lewiston. Freedom produces both new manufactured and reloaded ammunition on site, feeding their plated Extreme bullets into 9mm training rounds while also cranking out bottleneck rifle cartridges for hunters. The cost savings from ditching redundant logistics lets them invest in new tooling. That means longer head stamps for long-range cartridges. Reaching past the 400-yard mark will roll out throughout 2025. And while other companies chase investor approval with buzzwords like carbon neutral or diversity focused, Freedom stays grounded in one principle: volume. They're measuring success in cases per minute, not PowerPoint metrics. That scale of production doesn't just serve Idaho customers, it fuels shelves at LAX Ammunition in California, one of the few remaining retail chains that caters to law-abiding gun owners trapped in a state with more red tape than range space. By consolidating their operations in Idaho, Freedom shields LAT's inventory from foreign boardroom drama or transatlantic shipping hiccups. That's how you keep ammo prices grounded and supply chains American. Bear Creek Arsenal. Now let's talk about the wild card Bear Creek Arsenal. If you thought they were sticking to uppers and receivers, think again. This North Carolina outfit made a name for itself by offering complete AR platforms at prices that undercut the big brands by half. But they didn't stop at rifles. They've entered the ammunition game, and in typical Bear Creek fashion, they're keeping it American-made and cost-effective. Out of their Sanford, North Carolina facility, Bear Creek now rolls out 5.56 NATO cartridges loaded with 55-grain full metal jacket boat tails. The same plant that mills M4 feed ramps now houses the presses that build the ammunition feeding those rifles. Their quality control team checks barrel gas ports and velocity curves in the same shift, walking ammo samples straight to the chronograph. If a round underperforms, they catch it before it hits the box. They're not pitching this ammo for precision rifle matches or sniper schools. This is the fuel for fast-paced USPSA, stages, defensive drills, and your regular Tuesday night Steel League. For the cost of 3 boutique boxes, you can walk out with a case that'll last through a carbine class and still have money left for drinks. When panic buying kicks up and shelves clear in a day, Bear Creek's output offers more than just savings, it offers stability. Every round that leaves Bear Creek replaces one less dependent on a foreign-owned factory debating whether new environmental regulations justify a LIBOR discount. Here, the only green agenda is ensuring brass lands in American shooters' hands. The bigger picture. Sure, you can point out that Capstone's powder still comes from a Brazilian parent company, or that Idaho's electric grid might get sketchy during fire season. And you'd be right, there's no such thing as bulletproof redundancy. But what matters is where the profits land and who controls the trigger. When you buy a box of Berger bullets from Capstone, that revenue pays an American worker. When First Breach melts Missouri lead and pours it into molds in Maryland, that's domestic scrap getting second life, not shipped overseas for refining. Freedom Munitions now runs bullets 40 feet through a conveyor instead of 400 miles on a truck. And a Bear Creek rifle, shipped yesterday, might be back on a home range by the weekend, fed with locally loaded ammo. That tight loop doesn't just improve consistency, it also insulates the American shooting community from global shocks and policy whims. Capstone ballisticians are winning matches in beers on the weekend. Jordan Lowe from First Breach is still signing off on military certifications with shrapnel scars on his hands. The Freedom crew in Idaho clocks out and hits steel along the Snake River after their shifts. Bear Creek's techs test ammo on lunch breaks and live stream it for feedback. This is a grassroots culture that no overseas conglomerate can replicate. Look, the big message behind the Czech takeover of our legacy ammo brands isn't just that foreign ownership is bad. After all, Beretta's been cranking out shotguns in Maryland for years, and they've never shorted duck hunters to feed clays in Italy. The real issue is alignment of incentives. Capstone earns when long-range shooters hit bullseyes. First Breach thrives when its primers light up every time. Freedom wins by shipping pallet loads without delays. Bear Creek lives or dies on keeping shooters stocked without breaking the bank. Over the next 12 months, keep an eye out. You'll see Berger and Lapua labels in hunting aisles. You'll spot first breach head stamps at local 2-gun matches. Freedom Munitions invoices will pile up at LAX counters. Bear Creek bulk boxes will roll out of pawn shops across the country. That's your cue. Cast your vote with your wallet. Throw a brick of first breach 9mm in your range bag. Grab a box of Capstone 73 grain 22-3 for your match load. Put some Freedom hollow points through your carry gun. Ring some steel with Bear Creek's 55 grain 5-6. If they let you down, let them know. If they deliver well, now you're part of the rebirth. And that's a wrap for today. Have you tried any of these brands? Would you trust your everyday carry to one of them? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button, share the video, and hit subscribe with notifications on. We've got more ammo updates coming your way. Stay sharp and stay American.